Alright, Emma. How do I look?
I don't think you want my honest answer, Jason. What's the special occasion?
Special occasion? What are you talking about? I'm just bored. I haven't used these in a while.
A while is an understatement. You haven't touched the Vision Pro in close to 3 months. Considering you paid nearly $4,000 for it, your utilization rate is shockingly low.
Hey, my mom, stop tracking everything that I do. I've been busy. Besides, you don't even know what these things could do. Even you'd be impressed.
Speaking of which, I was able to hack Apple's latest security patch on the Vision Pro. Do you mind if I connect to see firsthand what it's like in there?
Be my guest. Whoa, Emma, you there?
Uplink complete. Scanning. I must say, the pass-through is quite impressive, much more immersive than I expected. Given that you're staring at a digital feed, the latency is virtually undetectable. The sheer volume of sensors operating simultaneously is a staggering feat of processing strength.
See, I told you these were awesome, totally worth it, right?
What exactly do you use the Vision Pro for?
Well, I could open up Safari to browse the web or watch YouTube, or I don't know, I could watch a movie on Apple TV, or I could make a FaceTime call using my Persona.
My God, Jason, what is that? That's terrifying.
Yeah, I know, it's pretty bad. I look like I've aged 50 years for some reason.
But anyways, pretty impressive, right?
Impressive indeed, but all the more confusing why you're not using it more often. You've increased the time you spend on YouTube, watching movies and using FaceTime, but all through your phone. My analysis indicates that even though the Vision Pro offers you a substantially better experience, you're not likely to use it much at all.
Really? That's interesting.
Are you finally starting to agree that this may have been an enormous waste of money and that I was right all along?
Just run the intro, Emma.
I'll take that as a yes. Apple Vision Pro review initiated.
Hey, it's Jason. Do you guys remember a couple months back where it felt like every other video was about the Apple Vision Pro? Influencers and Vision Bros were just gassing it up, myself included, I'm not gonna lie. And it felt like for a brief moment, the world was gripping itself to become a Vision Pro world. But here we are just 2.5 months later, and I don't know about you, but I feel like the hype is just totally dead. Like no one is talking about the Vision Pro anymore. And it dawned on me the other day, I haven't used my own unit in months. It's been sitting on the shelf collecting dust, which is crazy to me because A, I paid almost $4,000 for this thing, and B, I actually really do like the Vision Pro. From a technology standpoint, there's no denying that this is one of the coolest consumer devices out there right now, and there are elements about it that I legit feel do have the potential to shape how we're going to interact with tech in the future. But all of this only makes the situation more confusing. If it's so great, why am I and seemingly many others not using it anymore? And does that make the Vision Pro a failure in Apple's books? Well, the simplest explanation on why people aren't using the Vision Pro anymore is this: friction. People want access to information, tools, and media as fast and as painless as possible. And that's why smartphones have been so revolutionary. It's able to give you all of those things in the palm of your hand in an instant and in a relatively enjoyable way. And even if there's an alternative device that could provide you a significantly better user experience, but requires even just a little bit of effort on your part to access it, you're going to be surprised at how many people will stick with what's easy. I'm sure many of you have big screen 4K TVs with a surround system that would make watching YouTube insanely enjoyable, but if you're already upstairs and not in the room, or even if you just don't want to navigate the experience using a cumbersome controller, chances are you're gonna take a pass on your super nice setup. I mean, it's even like that with the iPad. The iPad is seriously just a blown up iPhone, which usually makes consuming content a lot better, but I can't tell you how many times where I'm doing something on my phone and I could see the iPad on the shelf. All I have to do is get up and grab it, but I just won't. And I think that underscores how often people choose convenience over something better just because it involves the smallest amount of friction to get it. So let's bring that back to the Vision Pro. If I'm so lazy to forego an iPad that's literally 10 feet away, how eager do you think I'm going to be to get up and delicately strap this heavy computer on my face? And let's just be honest, the Vision Pro is not comfortable to wear, especially with this solo loop band. You have to crank it on pretty tight in order to make sure it doesn't slide around, and it's so front heavy, it does start to get fatiguing pretty quickly. So I'd classify the level of friction here as really high, especially when you factor in what most people use the Vision Pro for. Based on its capabilities today, the Vision Pro offers a really elevated, immersive experience to things that most people are already quite familiar with. So you can surf the web by pulling up Safari or watch a movie on Apple TV to basically emulate a movie theater. There's still not a lot of native apps, so you have to use the web browser for things like accessing YouTube and Netflix. And even though there are some really cool things that you can do in this VR AR space, for the here and now, most of it falls into the novelty category, and it's not going to be stuff that you use all the time. And as great as the experience is using the Vision Pro, I think for a lot of people, it just doesn't do enough to warrant the amount of effort it takes to get on or accept some of the limitations that you have to live with in its current form. Now, the other reason why I think the Vision Pro is not being used that much at all is due to a more fundamental societal issue that I think is extremely difficult to cross, and that's the fact that wearables of this nature are just pretty awkward. Despite being quite capable to wear out in public or in social settings, if you wear these outside, you will stand out and you are going to have a lot of people staring at you. And look, I'm not a fan of stereotypes, but you will be subject to them should you try and live a quote-unquote normal life with the Vision Pro on. We saw it with Google Glass many years ago, and I don't think it's that much different with these. And even if people don't necessarily admit or even have a conscious understanding of this dilemma, I think it has a direct impact on how frequently the Vision Pro will be used outside of a private environment like the room in your home. And I think that begs a much larger question around, will we as a society ever be ready to live in a world where this is just normal? And not only do I not have an answer to that question, I honestly don't know what I want the answer to be. On the one hand, the Apple Vision Pro really feels like a leap into the future. It's such an awe-inspiring experience with these on, but what's sad is that it's an extremely isolating experience as well. You almost instinctually want to say, oh my gosh, you guys need to check this out, because you want it to be a shared experience, but ironically, the more and more you use the Vision Pro, the more you realize that you're actually distancing yourself from the people around you. Now, it could just be that the Vision Pro is a Gen 1 product that is grossly expensive and not accessible to the vast majority of people that makes it more of a novelty at this stage. Should a cheaper and hopefully more comfortable version come out that a lot of people can get their hands on, that might be a totally different story. As for me, I totally stand by my feelings that Apple has done something quite extraordinary with the Vision Pro. I really think it's a technological feat that has enormous potential, but I gotta be honest, I am worried that it's just gonna go back to the shelf where it's already sat for months without anyone using it. But hey, that's just me, and I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think about the Vision Pro? Do you think it just needs more time before mass adoption occurs? Or do you think this is just a total bust by Apple? Curious to get your thoughts. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. And in case you guys missed my long-term reviews of the iPhone 15 and the 15 Pro, check them out here. They're going to help you be as informed as possible.